This video is exactly what the title says it is, but I'm also going to go through the entire storyline that brought them to where they are today. So let's get into it, because I know you guys don't watch more than a minute of my videos anyway. Let's start with the opening match on night one, and that being Jey Uso versus Gunther. Now this feud started around the end of January when Jey Uso, I don't even know, got the courage to face Gunther at Saturday night's main event, and he lost. But then he won the Royal Rumble, and he decided to pick Gunther once again because Gunther has been humiliating him for the last couple of months now. So in terms of this, the way they are writing Jey Uso going into WrestleMania, he is definitely being written as the underdog by far, and he is somebody that I do not personally believe should win come this WrestleMania. Yeah, believe it or not, I really do not think it's Jey Uso's time. I think they should probably do what they have done with Cody Rhodes and do the same type of thing, you know? Maybe you don't have it happen at WrestleMania next year, but maybe you do it at SummerSlam or something like that. But in my opinion, it should be a Cody Rhodes type of story. Jey Uso should not defeat Gunther at WrestleMania. I really do believe Gunther is starting to finally come into his own, and to just take the belt right off of him as soon as Gunther is finally starting to get it. I don't like it. I think Gunther's best work has actually just started, so that's where we really should not be taking the belt off of him. Jey Uso, though, in my opinion, really should take a year to just get back to the top of the mountain, kind of like what Cody Rhodes did. He had to climb all the way back up, and in my opinion, I think that is the same thing that Jey Uso should do. So yes, I kind of just spoiled it. In my opinion, I think Gunther should retain come this WrestleMania. I really do not believe that Jey Uso needs this win that badly. I mean, yes, he obviously could use it, but I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think he obviously has the crowd behind him, so there is just no reason to take the belt off of Gunther when Gunther is finally starting to come into his own. And what carries this decision for me is the fact that they literally had to call in Jimmy, Jay's brother, to make this feud actually interesting, and that alone doesn't do it for me. That just does not do it for me, in my opinion. I've always been a big proponent of this. I think Jimmy Uso is the much better Uso compared to Jay, and it has shown throughout this feud. Gunther has done his part. Gunther's actually woken up basically during his title reign. It's almost as if he does not want the belt taken off of him, and he finally is starting to realize that, like, not just like not in kayfabe, but like in real life, he does not want the belt taken off of him by Jey Uso. So he's finally starting to show why he is the world champion and why he is so damn good. And so for that alone, I've loved everything Gunther has done. Gunther has obviously been doing a really good job of carrying this feud, and that's kind of what he's done. He has carried this feud. His promos have gotten so much better, and Jey Uso's promos are still not very good. And the problem is Jey Uso tried to cut a very serious promo the other week, and the crowd wouldn't let him because Jey Uso is a joke. And in my opinion, that is not what should be beating somebody who barely loses in Gunther at WrestleMania. Now we're going to move on to the Charlotte Flair versus the WWE Champion Tiffany Stratton. Now, this one I had to change a heart on, but this feud started around the time Charlotte Flair obviously returned at the Royal Rumble, and she basically could not make up her mind of who she wanted to face. She took forever to decide. I think she took around 2 weeks to decide. She went from Rhea to Julia down in NXT, and then she went back up to Tiffany Stratton, and then she finally picked Tiffany. And honestly, I think it was for the best. I think everyone wanted to see this match, but the build to this match is then definitely a little weird. I mean, at first, Charlotte Flair was walking all over Tiffany. Tiffany definitely looked like a child compared to Charlotte, and it was not very good for Tiffany. But then within the last few weeks, Tiffany has finally started to just take off and kind of do things the Charlotte way, in the sense of not doing anything by the script. And yes, that's hurting Charlotte more than it's hurting Tiffany right now, because obviously Tiffany is just retaliating, and that's on Charlotte because Charlotte is the one who went off script first. And so, yes, this entire feud I feel like has been more off script than anything. And for that matter alone, I don't know how much I like this feud. This feud has been very messy, but it's a good type of messy, you know? You definitely think they hate each other, and for all we know, they may really do hate each other. But it's hard to tell because obviously they have been going at it for the last few weeks now in the ring, on the mic, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they have just been going at it. It's a solid build. I think it's better than the Gunther and Jey Uso build, but not by much. I think the only thing that it's better at is the fact that they are really taking personal shots at each other, but outside of that, I think Gunther and Jey clear. But that's the problem, is Jey and Gunther don't clear well with the promos and stuff because Jey doesn't know how to cut a promo. But then again, Tiffany and Charlotte, neither one of them are great at promos, but they are still doing a good job at making this feud feel interesting in a sense, because it's like they're taking shots at each other, and yes, Jey and Gunther have been doing that, but not to the extreme like Tiffany and Charlotte have. So, with that being said, I personally believe Tiffany Stratton should retain at WrestleMania. I think within the last few weeks, Charlotte has brought another side of Tiffany out, and in my opinion, I don't think it is the right idea to just take the belt off of Tiffany right away. Tiffany just got it at the beginning of the year, basically. I mean, I think it was like the last Smackdown in December that she got it. So either way, she literally hasn't had that long of a title reign, and in my opinion, I want to see more of what Tiffany can do. Have Charlotte do something else. She is someone who does not need to win another belt right this instance. And yes, I know that was the plan going into her return, is that she was going to win a belt, but you don't always have to do that. I don't personally believe Charlotte needs to win the belt right now. She can do something else. She can put someone else over. They have been hinting at a Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair feud, and that's a feud that does not need a belt, in my opinion. And that is something that Jade Cargill needs to get better at, in my opinion anyway, because the feud between her and Naomi, I think Naomi has been carrying the promo side of things. But Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill would be a fantastic feud that does not need the belt, and that's something that I would really love to see. Let Tiffany defend against a few more people, and then maybe have Charlotte come back and maybe beat her at like SummerSlam or something. I really do believe that Tiffany Stratton should have her moment here. I really do not think Charlotte Flair needs to win. Then again, that does not mean Charlotte Flair won't be winning, obviously. I mean, this is just a prediction, and this is what I think should happen, and Tiffany Stratton, I really do believe, should just retain come WrestleMania. Now we are on to the United States Championship match between Jacob Fatu and the champion, LA Knight. I personally believe it is Jacob Fatu's time. This is going to be my first title swap, in a sense. So Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight for the championship. Personally, I do not think LA Knight should be beating Jacob Fatu, and I don't think a lot of people should be beating Jacob Fatu. I think Jacob Fatu should be treated a lot like Gunther, where it is almost impossible to beat him. I really do believe that this would be a great thing for Jacob Fatu. I mean, I don't personally think he needs the title, but at the same time, I want to see what he can do with it. I think Jacob Fatu can bring it to another level. Honestly, I could see him going on like a Logan Paul type of run, but defending it way more often, obviously. Logan Paul, I think, had the belt for over almost a year, so I want to see the same thing with Jacob Fatu. I would love to see him come into WrestleMania next year and defending it. I really would love to see that. I think they can do that. I think Jacob Fatu's entire title reign would be actually very interesting, so I would love to see it. There is no reason for this feud to not go there, but this feud, honestly, there has really been no starting point for it. I would say within the last few months, maybe since January, I don't know, that Jacob Fatu's been kind of around the bubble of this United States Championship match, but honestly, there really has not been a build to this match. It's kind of come out of nowhere, in my opinion. All of a sudden, Jacob Fatu was facing Braun Strowman in a number one contenders match, which was a last man standing, and Jacob Fatu won. But yeah, in my opinion, it really has come out of nowhere. I mean, Jacob Fatu ambushed LA Knight at the end of the show last Friday, but outside of that, this match really does not have much build to it, so that's kind of why I skipped to who I think should win. And yeah, I mean, I already said it. Jacob Fatu, I really do believe, should win this title. There is no reason for him not to win it, in my opinion. LA Knight has had his time, but dude, when there is someone else like a Jacob Fatu out there, you gotta reward the guy. I mean, this is his first WrestleMania, and I honestly believe it will be a banger match. This one is definitely, I want to say, lined up to steal the show, in my opinion. I could easily see this match being the best match on night one. Like, in-ring work, I really could see this being the best match. Now, onto the fun match of the night, and that being Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. In my opinion, this has been a fantastic feud so far. I really do love what they've been doing. Some people think that this is mocking the luchadors and having El Grande Americano. Honestly, you guys gotta stop being so soft. I mean, come on, WWE has done much worse than this. This is just a fantastic feud in my opinion. I really do love what they have done with El Grande Americano. And yeah, if you've been living under a rock, that is obviously Chad Gable, but it doesn't matter. It is so freaking awesome. It's so fun. It's a fun character idea, and sure, it's not Chad Gable himself getting the WrestleMania match, but in my opinion, I really do believe that this is obviously a good counter to what it is. You know, it makes the feud interesting at least, okay? It brings a little bit of a different dynamic to it. It's more fun, it's interesting, and in my opinion, this was going to be another match that could easily steal the show, but I believe that El Grande Americano should actually win. Yeah, believe it or not, I do believe that El Grande Americano should win, but he's not going to win as El Grande Americano at the end, because I really do believe that this is a perfect opportunity to have Rey unmask El Grande Americano, and obviously it beat Chad Gable, and then Chad Gable takes advantage of Rey being so curious about who's under the mask that he is able to pin Rey on the grandest stage of them all, and that being WrestleMania. So yes, in my opinion, I do think Chad Gable, or El Grande Americano, whatever you want to call him, I do believe he deserves this win a little bit more. He needs this win a little bit more than Rey does. Rey does not need this win. Kind of like the last few years of WrestleMania. Rey has not needed these wins, but they have been giving them to him. And I don't know why they have been giving them to him. So it's like, I really would love to see them go with a different direction. Have El Grande Americano actually win here. And again, as I said, don't have him win as El Grande Americano. Have him win as Chad Gable, because Rey was too interested in taking the mask off of him. I do believe that this is going to be another in-ring masterpiece though, so watch out for this one. Now onto the match that nobody wanted to see on the card, and that being the War Raiders versus the New Day. This match, feud, whatever the fuck you want to call it, this has just been a terrible feud all around. There is no reason for this to be on the match card outside of the fact that it's the New Day. New Day is 100% carrying the fact that they're on this card, but here's the problem: is this match, feud, whatever the hell you want to call it, should have accumulated almost back around December or January, and it did not. That is when New Day turned heel initially, and they did not capitalize on that heel heat at all, and that is unfortunate, because now it's like, yes, New Day still gets booed, but not to the extent that they were earlier. If you were going to have New Day turn heel, you should have done it closer to the, you know, WrestleMania, where you're going to actually have them on the match card, because if they did that heel turn closer to WrestleMania, I could get behind them being on the card 100%. But the matter of the fact is, I think the Smackdown Tag Champions deserve to be on this card way more than the Raw does, and I personally do not understand why War Raiders are on this card, other than, you know, I don't get it. The SmackDown Tag Division has been way better, and there is no reason whatsoever for any of them to be left off this card for two teams on the Raw roster who have actually been worse than every other team on SmackDown's Tag Division. That's insane to think. But yeah, I personally do not think this match should be on the card. Again, this feud has not had too much going for it. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago now, or maybe it was last week, I don't remember. I think it was last week. The New Day basically hit the War Raiders with a chair shot during their championship match, and it ended up escalating in a good brawl, and whatever the case may be. But yeah, it still hasn't been that good. But in my opinion, I do believe that this is the New Day's time to win. There is no reason to keep the belts on the War Raiders, in my opinion. Their reign has been less than stellar ever since they took it off the Judgment Day. The only reason people like the War Raiders a little bit was the fact that they ended the Judgment Day's terrible reign. So for that matter, I don't see a world where they actually win, and there is no reason for them to win. So that being said, I really do believe the New Day should win at WrestleMania. Now onto a fantastic builded feud, whatever you want to call it, fantastic feud heading into WrestleMania, and that being Naomi versus Jade Cargill. This is the payoff of the Jade Cargill attack back in November when Jade was pushed onto a car, and we finally got the reveal about a month ago when Jade returned at the Elimination Chamber. It was drawn out so well, it was done so well. Obviously, though, it did take a little bit of time, and that people were getting a little less interested in who actually did the attack on Jade Cargill, but it doesn't matter because they brought the heat back right away. Naomi has done a fantastic job as a heel. I absolutely love her character work so far. She's been cutting some of the best promos, and now I'm starting to understand the hype behind Naomi a little bit. At first, Naomi as a face is not that interesting, but Naomi as a heel is so much more interesting, and I am so glad they had Naomi be the one to turn heel, not Jade or something like that, you know. And this is going to be a fantastic match again. Another one that is easily going to possibly steal the show. If people want to slack on Jade Cargill's in-ring ability, just stop. Jade Cargill is solid in the ring, and there's no reason to be slacking on Jade. She is really good, and so is Naomi, you know. I do have a feeling that this is going to be one that actually could possibly steal the show as well, but this feud, again, this has started around November, but we didn't really get the payoff of it until March, and Naomi, as I said, has been cutting the best promos of her career. Jade, on the other hand, has kind of struggled in that sense, but at the same time, she has still made it interesting. She has made up for it in other ways, and that's what you want to see. Unlike the Jey Uso feud with Gunther, Jey Uso has not made up for it in other ways. Jade has, and this is probably the best built WrestleMania match there is on this card. Night 1 and Night 2 combined. This is probably the best built up match. Believe that or not. So, with that being said, I believe Naomi should actually win this match. There is no reason to have Jade win this one. Just because Jade is a powerhouse and she is Jade Cargill does not mean she needs to win. And they need to set another precedence where it's not always the faces that win at WrestleMania. You need to start giving some heels the victory, and I think it is a perfect way to have Naomi be rewarded for the work that she has done. And honestly, I think this has been Naomi's best few months back in the company ever since she returned. This feud has helped her so much, in my opinion. And as I said before, I didn't really understand the hype behind Naomi, but now I am starting to, and she has done a fantastic job with what has been given to her. Now we go to the main event of Night 1, and that being Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. This is a fantastic built match. I would say this is probably one of the sleepier great builds of the entire WrestleMania, in my opinion. Sure, there has not been a lot of in-ring wrestling that kind of builds the feud, but it's been more promo work. But these three are the best at the promo work side of things in all of WWE, in my opinion. I think these three are the best on the mic. I think these three are the best at building feuds, and yeah, there's been no complaints whatsoever about how this feud has been made on my side of things. People want to say that Roman Reigns was just tossed in here because he's Roman Reigns. They have made it work so well, and the fact that they have brought Paul Heyman into this and made it kind of surround Paul Heyman has just been fantastic. This feud initially was kind of surrounding Seth Rollins and CM Punk, and truthfully, I would say this probably started around, I want to say Survivor Series War Games, when CM Punk returned from his bad blood match against Drew McIntyre. He finally returned from that, and he helped Roman Reigns out at War Games, and they ended up winning at War Games, and then Punk told Heyman that he owes him a favor, and then fast forward to January 6th, the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, and we had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and CM Punk ends up beating Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins gets really pissed off heading into the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble happens. CM Punk eliminates both Roman and Seth at the same exact time, and then Logan Paul comes out from behind and eliminates CM Punk. But then outside of the ring, there is some shenanigans. Rollins gets really mad at Roman, stomps him into the ground, and then Punk and Rollins start brawling it out. It's just drawn out so damn well. And then fast forward to the Elimination Chamber, Punk I think eliminates Rollins, but then Rollins comes back and helps eliminate Punk after the pact, and then that draws out a perfect feud for that. And then we fast forward again to a steel cage match on Monday Night Raw, and Punk and Rollins are in this match, going at it, going well. It looks like Rollins is about to get the win, and then Roman pulls Rollins out of the cage, and this is where the feud finally starts. So, yes, this has been drawn out so damn well, in my opinion. I think it has been a fantastic feud, and Roman has come back almost every episode of Smackdown, and if he misses a Smackdown, he's normally on the next week's Raw, which has just happened. So I have no complaints about this feud, seriously. This feud has been done so well, and in my opinion, I believe Seth Rollins should win this feud, even though, or not feud, Seth Rollins should win this match, even though, you know, Seth Rollins has come out on top the last few times that they have been in the ring together, and that is the only problem with this, is that they have made Seth Rollins look a little too good going into this match, that it almost doesn't make it believable that he's going to be the one to win it. You know, if you know classic WWE wrestling, is that the person who normally looks weak going into WrestleMania or any PLE ends up coming out on top. So with that being said, I really do believe that Seth Rollins, though, should win this feud, because I think this feud now has transitioned to being between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and you can easily have that accumulate at SummerSlam. This I think is the match for SummerSlam, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, and this is a perfect way to get Seth Rollins out of the feud, is that Seth Rollins wins and he's no longer involved with them, and so there's no reason for Seth Rollins to revisit them because he's already beaten them at the grandest stage of them all. This allows Seth Rollins to maybe go for the world title against Gunther, give Gunther a very solid title defense, but obviously this is of course if Gunther wins. Again, I really want to see that, but Seth Rollins, I really do believe they can go in a different direction with him if he wins here, and it allows Roman and Punk to have a fantastic feud heading into SummerSlam, and it obviously revolving around Paul Heyman. So for that fact alone, I do believe that having Seth Rollins win here is the right decision, and that is the decision that they really should go with. There is no reason whatsoever for anyone else to win in this match. Yes, Roman Reigns has probably looked the most weak going into it, but that does not mean he needs to look like he needs to win this match. He can win at SummerSlam or whatever the case may be. But yes, Seth Rollins, in my opinion, this is a perfect way to get him out of the feud, have him win here, and so he doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. Perfect. Win-win. I think this is the route they should go in. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a video about Night 2's WrestleMania card and who I think should be winning those matches. But for this one, I wanted to just go through and just, decide who I think actually should win each of these matches. What would make the feuds more interesting after WrestleMania, and that's kind of where I went with it. But outside of that, I really would love to know what you guys think, and please comment your thoughts and opinions down below. I'll be sure to get back to you. And until next time, see ya.